I remember the sound before the words, crystal glasses clinking, a polite laugh, then the hiss. You're outdated. We're done here. The CEO leaned in as if proximity could make it mercy. I nodded once, calm, respectful, understood. That was the moment the retirement trust activated its voting rights. By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. The question on the agenda wasn't subtle. I didn't start the night planning to burn anything down. It was supposed to be a farewell, safe, ceremonial, forgettable. Balloons in corporate blue, a cake with my name spelled correctly for once. I wore the suit my late wife bought me after my first acquisition. She said it made me look dangerous in a polite way. My stepdaughter didn't hug me. She didn't even fake it. She waited until the applause faded, leaned close and said, "Don't expect help. You're on your own." Her breath smelled like champagne and certainty. I had raised her from 12 to 28, paid for degrees she never finished, promoted people she liked, absorbed insults as if they were weather. I believed loyalty was an investment. I believed time earned respect. I was wrong, but I wasn't unprepared. The betrayal didn't arrive with fireworks, it seeped. Missed calendar invites, a CFO who stopped returning texts, legal drafts I was asked to review later. The CEO, my CEO, calling me founder emeritus, like a diagnosis. The tell came 6 months earlier, in a line item buried in a benefits memo, a restructuring of the retirement trust. Language too clean, too eager. Someone had tried to cap my voting power post-retirement. They assumed I was sentimental. They assumed I was tired. They assumed I hadn't written the trust myself. Pain came first, quiet, heavy, then clarity. I stopped attending meetings, started listening instead. I let them believe the narrative, old man stepping aside. I let them practice without me in the room, and I prepared. Preparation doesn't look like revenge in the movies. It looks like spreadsheets, late calls with lawyers who don't blink, offshore custodians who understand silence, surveillance that never leaves fingerprints, just patterns. I consolidated voting rights under the trust's original clauses, triggered contingencies tied to performance thresholds only I knew existed. I watched the share price climb, fueled by a strategy I designed years ago and never explained fully. They celebrated growth like it was theirs. I let them. I set one rule for myself: no sudden moves. Let arrogance do the lifting. The execution began with a phone call during my own party. Shares just hit 1.2, my CFO said. His voice shook. Billion, what do you want to do next? I looked at my stepdaughter. She was smiling at someone else, already dividing the future. Nothing, I said. Let Monday handle it. On Monday, the trust voted. Quietly, legally, irrevocably. Board seats reshuffled. Executive powers suspended pending review. The CEO's access badge expired at 9:02 a.m. At 9:04, he called me. He didn't hiss this time. The confrontation happened in the boardroom I built. Same table, same city skyline, different gravity. They filed in like mourners who hadn't checked the obituary. The CEO spoke first. There's been a mistake. I let the silence stretch. I wanted them to hear their own breathing. There hasn't, I said. You fired me Friday. I accepted. Then I exercised my rights. My stepdaughter's face drained of color. She finally looked at me. You said you were retiring, she whispered. I did, I said, from daily operations, not from ownership. Read the trust. The CFO swallowed. The lawyers didn't move. They had already read it. I slid a folder across the table. Inside were minutes, votes, signatures. Clean, boring, fatal. The CEO tried anger. It bounced off. You can't do this. I already did. The fallout wasn't loud. It was surgical. Golden parachutes failed to deploy. Non-competes activated. Bonuses froze. The board voted unanimously to appoint an interim team loyal to the capital, not the noise. My stepdaughter didn't speak again. She watched her assumptions collapse, one clause at a time. She had never considered me her father. I had never asked her to. I stood to leave. That mattered more than any speech.
At the door, I paused. Not for them, for myself. I didn't win because I was cruel. I won because I listened, because I built systems that outlived affection, because I accepted the truth when it arrived and didn't beg it to change. Betrayal teaches you who people are. Revenge teaches them who you've always been. I retired that day, truly. I kept the shares, I kept my name, I kept my calm. As I stepped into the elevator, my phone buzzed once. "What do you want to do next?" the CFO asked again. I smiled for the first time in months. "Enjoy the silence," I said.